This week and next week, I'm going to be sharing with you on what I've entitled Closing the Doors of Poverty. It's an open secret that poverty is a major, major issue in our world today, not just in Africa, but all over the globe. How do we close the door of poverty? We can only close the door of poverty by ensuring that those things that causes poverty are dealt with. And that's what we'll be looking at in today's broadcast and next week's broadcast. So get yourself ready, get your pen, get your paper, so that you will take note, because it's a school. And because it's a school, you need a notebook, you need a pen, so that you can jot down all the things we're going to be looking at. Poverty has caused so much problem in the world. I want you to know that if you really look all around the world, you'll find out that many of the problems we have today is traceable to poverty. Many of the wars, many of the sicknesses, many of the marital crises and relational crises are all traceable to poverty. Even corruption, assassination, armed robbery, everything around us that is negative will most likely be traceable to poverty. So poverty is something that we all need to do what we can to eradicate in our world today. I believe in poverty eradication. I believe that poverty can be eradicated one life at a time. But in order for you to come out of poverty, you must know exactly what causes poverty. One of the things I've come to realize is that many times, a lot of people are always thinking, what can I do to be rich? Now, instead of asking, what can I do to be rich? Sometimes the right question to ask is, why am I not rich? Because you see, if you are able to deal with why you are not rich, you automatically find out that you begin to progress, because most of the time it is those obstacles, those hindrances, those things that we have allowed to remain in our lives that has hindered us from entering into the place of wealth. So if you are going to become rich and wealthy, you must close the doors of poverty. Well, you need to understand that poverty is not a citizen of any country. Poverty is not the respecter of persons. Poverty does not respect your age. It does not respect your face. It does not respect your place. It does not respect your race. Poverty attacks anyone. So whether you are old or young, slim or plumpy, you can be poor. Light in complexion or dark, you can be poor. No matter where you come from on the face of the earth, poverty can attack anyone. So how do we close the door of poverty? I think we need to start by establishing exactly what poverty is. Because most of the time, when you say poverty, a lot of people have different ideas of what poverty is. Well, what is poverty? We can define poverty in different ways, but I want you to know that really, when we look at poverty, we can look at it from few dimensions. So number one, poverty is a state of lack and hardship. Poverty, number one, is a state of lack and hardship. So when you find yourself in that place where you lack everything that you need to move forward, you lack everything that you need to live a comfortable life, that is poverty. So poverty is a state of lack and hardship. So when things are hard, when times are tough, when the resources you have is not enough to be able to take care of your basic responsibility, then that is poverty. Well, poverty, number two, is also the opposite of prosperity, riches, and wealth. So when you are not rich, you're poor. When you're not wealthy, you're poor. When you are not comfortable, you are poor. Poverty also can be seen as a mindset. Poverty can be seen as a mindset. And I've seen a lot of people with what I call poverty mentality. When a man has poverty mentality, he's always selfish. What's in it for me? What can I get? That's always the mindset of a poor man. When a man has poverty mentality, he's always thinking of the now. He does not think of the future. He wants to have it now. He wants to consume it now. He wants to eat everything up now without planning for the future. When a man has poverty mentality, he is always thinking quantity and not quality. So you need to understand that if you are going to be free from poverty and close the doors of poverty, you need to have the clear understanding of all these dimensions of poverty. There are few doors that opens the way for poverty to come into the life of an individual. I want to begin to examine them one after the other. Number one, the first door of poverty that everyone needs to close is the door of ignorance. The door of ignorance. Ignorance is the number one cause of poverty on earth. I've been privileged to go around the world and I've seen poverty everywhere. On different continents of the earth, I've seen poverty everywhere. And I want you to know that poverty is not limited to a geographical boundary. Poverty is not limited to a geographical location. Poverty is available anywhere there is ignorance. So the first door of poverty that we really need to close is the door of ignorance. Now, ignorance is darkness. When a man is ignorant, he does not know what to do. When a man is ignorant, he does not know how to move from where he is to where he needs to be. And listen, there are different dimensions in this aspect of ignorance that we need to look at. A lot of people are poor basically because of ignorance. Number one, people are ignorant of who they are. A lot of people don't even know who they are. They have not been able to discover themselves. And because of that, it has become very difficult for them to be able to assess the world, the place. So you must know who you are. I remember the great movie, the story of the prince and the pauper. In the story of the prince and the pauper, you find out that the prince knew who he was, and the pauper knew who he was. He was a pauper. But guess what? By the time they exchanged roles and the prince got into the street and the pauper got into the palace, it was difficult for the pauper to be able to live like a prince just because he believed he was not good enough. But at the same time, it was difficult for the prince to be able to submit to the reckless life on the street because he knew who he was. You need to know who you are, because when you know who you are, it will help you to realize that you are not born to be a failure. You are not created to live in poverty. You have not been brought into this world so that you can live at the bottom of the ladder. You also need to know what you have. Ignorance of what you have is a major issue in our world today. If you don't know what you have, how can you use it to your advantage? If you don't know what you have, how can you benefit from it? Listen, if you don't know what you have and others know what you have, they will use it and abuse you. So you must know who you are. You must know what you have. Number three, you need to have the knowledge of what you should do. A lot of people don't know what they should be doing. And that's why they're poor. They just don't know what to do. They're confused about what to do. And that's one aspect of ignorance that also needs to be dealt with. Apart from that, you also need to know what you should avoid. It's not just enough to know what you should do. You also need to know what you should avoid. Because there are things you are doing right now that is opening the door for poverty, that is enforcing poverty, that is enabling poverty. And these things must be dealt with if you are going to see a turnaround in your life. And then you need to know what to do to create wealth. You need to have an understanding of wealth creation principles. Now, these are the different aspects to this issue of ignorance that every individual needs to deal with. So if you want to be free from poverty, the first door of poverty you need to close is the door of ignorance. So, do you know what you need to know? Do you have the information that you need to have? Are you as knowledgeable as you should be? You need to deal with that. Because like I've always said, if you are not informed, you will be deformed. If you are not inspired, you will expire. If you are not updated, you will become outdated. If you are not in the know, you cannot be in the flow. Information is the key to transformation. And what you know is what determines how far you go in life. So everyone needs to take this first door serious. It's a major door that needs to be taken serious. The door of ignorance. Because when you look all around, you find out that a lot of people work so hard, but just because they are ignorant of basic things that they need to know, they find themselves at the bottom of the ladder. Those who know rule over those who do not know. So you must not allow ignorance to keep you in poverty. In order for you to come out of that poverty, you must open the door to knowledge. You must open the door to enlightenment. You must open the door to information so that you can rise out of that rubble of poverty and you can begin to do what you need to do to change the situation in your life. Now, apart from this aspect of ignorance, there are many other doors that opens and gives access to poverty that we need to close. But I'll be dealing with two other doors when we come back after this break. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. You're still on to the School of Money, and I'm still Olumide Emmanuel. We're looking at closing the doors of poverty. Like I said before we went on the break, there are doors that needs to be closed in order for every individual to come out of poverty. We said the first door that needs to be closed is the door of ignorance. The second door that needs to be closed is the door of laziness. Yes, you heard me right. The door of laziness. Laziness is one of the major reasons why people are poor. It's difficult to accept, but there are a lot of lazy people in our world today. People are not just physically lazy, they are mentally lazy. The mental laziness is even more dangerous than physical laziness, because you see a lot of people that are waking up very early in the morning, going all around, and they seem to be very, very hardworking. But when you really sit down to talk to them one-on-one, you will discover how mentally lazy they are. If you want to be free from poverty, you must close the door of laziness. Laziness manifests itself in different ways. One way of manifestation of laziness is idleness. Yes, a lot of people are idle. They are just what I call busybodies. They are just alive, existing, and doing nothing. They keep telling you, oh, it's not as if I don't want to work. I don't have anybody that will employ me. I just don't have anything to do. Listen, there is always work. But the issue is that people are not looking for work. They are looking for a job. There is always work. But people are not looking for work. They are looking for a job. You know what? A job is what you do to earn a living. But a work is what you are created to do. Your job is your career, but your work is your calling. So everyone has something they can do. But because they are waiting for something they will do that will bring money, that's why they say they don't have anything to do. So are you idle? Idleness is a form of laziness. If you don't have a job, volunteer yourself to begin to do something somewhere. Just be busy doing something. Even if you are not being paid for it, just go ahead and volunteer yourself. And go and do volunteer work. And you'll be amazed that while you are volunteering yourself, doors will open. I can tell you stories of people that I've spoken to that have gone ahead to volunteer their services, and from being a volunteer, they have ended up being employed. And I myself am a testimony to that, because the first major job I got in my life, I got it because I went into that organization to volunteer my services free of charge, and from the very first month, I started earning an income. Why? Because I offered value and I became a solution provider. Procrastination is another manifestation of laziness. Oh, I'm planning to, I'm hoping to, I intend to, is laziness. Listen and listen well. 1,000 good intention is not as powerful as one action. So I plan to, I hope to, I intend to, I'm working towards it. Give attention to your intention. Until you give attention to your intention, the world will not give you attention. Until you give attention to your intention, your world will stand at attention. An object will remain stagnant until a force is applied. Your life will remain the same way it is until you do something meaningful about it. So stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. Stop pushing till tomorrow what you are supposed to do today, because that is a form of laziness. Another manifestation of laziness is excuses. Listen and listen well. It has been known universally that excuses are the trademarks of failure. When people succeed, they take responsibility. But when they fail, they blame somebody else. So when you see people always giving excuses, it's because I don't have a job, it's because they are victimizing me, it's a form of laziness. It's because people are not ready to do what they are supposed to do to see a turnaround in their life. So if you want to be free, you have to rise from the place of laziness. Another manifestation of laziness is what I call the blame game. Always blaming somebody or something or somewhere for the reason why you are where you are. As long as you keep blaming people for the state you find yourself in life, you will not take responsibility to change your situation. So look at all these different dimensions and manifestation of laziness that we have looked at and begin to do something about it, especially in the aspect of mental laziness. Number 3, the third door of poverty that every individual needs to close is the door of unfaithfulness. Yes, unfaithfulness, lack of loyalty, lack of dependence. You cannot be dependent upon. Listen and listen well. Have you realized how difficult it is to find faithful people in our world today? Have you realized how everybody around seems to have thrown integrity out of the window, and everyone seems to be so interested in what they can get, even if they have to lose their name and their image just to get it? A good name is better than silver and gold. A good name will give you goodwill. A good name will give you leverage. But many people are not interested in a good name as long as they have a good balance sheet on their bank account. And that is a manifestation of unfaithfulness. Listen and listen well. If you are going to go far in life, you must be faithful. If you are an unfaithful individual, you can only cheat people once. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So the question now is, can somebody sit down to be fooled twice? We have been told over and over again, once bitten, twice shy. So you find out that the very minute you are an unfaithful person, your future is very slim. The very minute you are an unfaithful person, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to make progress in life. So listen and listen well. Be faithful. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it well. Whatever you find yourself doing, put in the best in doing it. Whatever level of life you find yourself in, just make sure you are the best at whatever level you are in. When you have that excellent spirit of being faithful, when who you are in secret and who you are in the open is the same, when your word becomes your bond, when what you say can be depended upon, when your lifestyle and the values you live for can be very, very positive, then you begin to see yourself closing that door of unfaithfulness. And as you close the door of unfaithfulness, you will see the door of prosperity, the door of wealth opening up to you. So you need to do a self-analysis concerning these issues that we have looked at today. Number one, are you ignorant? Do you know what you are supposed to know? Do you have the information you are supposed to have? Number two, are you lazy? Are you physically lazy? Are you mentally lazy? And have you looked at all those dimensions of laziness? Does any of it have a place in your life? Listen and listen well. If you examine yourself, nobody else will need to examine you. You'll be able to take responsibility and do what needs to be done. Are you unfaithful? Are you faithful? You need to answer all these questions. They are questions that everyone needs to answer, because if you really want to come out of poverty, you must do everything you can to close these doors. Like I told you earlier on, there are different doors that we need to close that will keep poverty out of our lives. These three doors we have looked at today are very, very vital doors that needs to be kept closed. So do everything you can to close that door and make sure the doors remain closed. Today at the three doors of poverty that you need to close. Next week, we're going to be looking at other doors that needs to be closed so that we can keep poverty out of our lives. Like I said at the beginning, almost everything we share on this broadcast is available in this book, The School of Money. This book is a book that every individual needs to have, especially when it comes to wealth creation and when it comes to poverty eradication. However, when it comes to this particular series on closing the doors of poverty, you need to get this book. It's called The Pathway to Wealth. Now, The Pathway to Wealth is the first book I wrote extensively on the aspect of finances. This book was released in 2007, and it has helped a lot of people all over the world come out of poverty. I can tell you categorically that between 2007 and now, we have been able to raise over 600 millionaires just by the information that are in this book. And I released this one, The School of Money, just as a sequel to this, to be able to bring us to an updated level when it comes to the issue of finance and wealth creation. So when you look at this book, The Pathway to Wealth, you will see all the different doors of poverty. I spend time explaining them and really dealing with them extensively, because we have limited time on this broadcast and we cannot bring everything that you need to you within the time that we have. So make sure you do everything you can to get this material and all our other materials. You can visit our website, www.commonsensegroup.com. Common Sense Group is the umbrella organization under which we do all the things we do. The publishing, the training and seminar, the media, even this broadcast, everything is under the Common Sense Group. So make sure you visit our website so that you can see all the different things that we do in the group. And then, apart from visiting the website, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a text, send us email to info@commonsensegroup.com. And then you can follow me on Twitter. You can also follow me on Facebook. On Twitter, my Twitter handle is @InternationalWiseman. @InternationalWiseman. International is INTL, @InternationalWiseman. And Facebook is www.facebook.com/Olumide.Emmanuel. Now, listen and listen well. I've said it over and over again that if you are not informed, you will be deformed. If you are not inspired, you will expire. You need to understand that the day you stop learning, you start dying. So you need to place a great premium on the acquisition of information. Do everything you can to continue to learn because life is a school of continual learning. The school of money is here to assist you in the journey of life, but you need to make sure you continue to take advantage of all the different learning opportunities that are available out there. It is our desire to make sure that through this platform, we help you on your journey of wealth creation. Well, it's been a wonderful time being with you today. Next week on this broadcast, we're going to be looking at Closing the Doors of Poverty, Part 2, as we conclude on this wonderful series. But we'll meet again next week.